America should not move on from Epstein. It's about our nation's legitimacy. As Pete Hegseth likes to say, our focus on meritocracy, understanding that in our DNA from people like Ben Franklin is that we are a middle-class nation. And those are the people that we support because that's what drives prosperity. This nation is not about supporting a select elite who spend their time idly, hanging out on islands, lazing around at parties, doing nothing and getting up to no good. Jeffrey basically only worked a couple years of his life, got his first job through a connection, who Wikipedia says was part of intelligence and was the father of a future U.S. Attorney General. And after just a couple years of work, he has tons of money and he's getting up to shady stuff. And then during the Bush administration, he gets a non-prosecution agreement for engaging in that, which is wild. From this guy, Alexander Acosta, a Bush appointee, who later gets rewarded with a secretary position. And then during the Obama years, Obama refuses to support the victims who say that this is an invalid agreement because it gives Jeffrey blanket immunity from so many of the things that he did. Only after intense pressure during the Trump years was he charged. Then within months, this happens. It's super shady. The son of the guy who gave Jeff his first job says, oh, it's just a perfect storm of screw-ups. Then neither Kamala Harris nor Joe Biden pushes for the release of the Epstein files. Then Trump, after campaigning on it, releases the files through this photo op with influencers with binders, while saying that the Epstein client list just doesn't exist. There's nothing to see here. Finally, Congress forces the Epstein files to be released through this Transparency Act. What we get is heavily redacted documents that incredibly identify the survivors rather than the perpetrators. The U.S. Deputy Attorney General says, look, this is over. Trump says it's time to move on. Meanwhile, it looks like the files drop was missing up to 2.5 million files, probably the most important ones. And it looks like Epstein wasn't part of the web. He was the heart with the Queen, UN, Columbia, Harvard, Goldman Sachs, Bill Gates, our current president, our former president, Norway, Europe, one of the wealthiest hedge fund managers in the world, the House of Rothschild. America is coming up on its 250th year of existence. And there is a very important line in the Declaration of Independence that all men are created equal. Equality before the law is the cornerstone of every individual right that an American possesses. She had rights and was an American. And this dude's rights are not more important than hers. To move on from Epstein would be against our soul as a nation and our middle-class roots. It would be un-American. Do you agree?